going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Chasing Dreams podcast with Charlie and Justin. We are on episode 88. We're both exhausted because we just had an awesome workout.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed getting a whole group of guys in the garage gym.
Yeah, there was 5 of us today in Justin's garage, and we've been trying. Now, see, it's hard. I wasn't going to say that we try to make this a regular thing of training every Saturday, but it's just tough, at least right now with my schedule, because I got a bunch of athletes competing. Like, I was in Columbus for a client that was at a show, and then I have another one competing today in Atlanta.
Nice.
So I'm going to kind of be hit and miss on some of these Saturdays, but we've been trying to train.
Yeah, every Saturday.
And then go do the podcast.
Yeah, and I think, with anything, once it's something new, so we have to get it, dialed in, figured out. But it'll be all right. Yeah,
it was a really good workout. We trained shoulders and did a lot of brutally primitive stuff. Like, we started off where we did a circuit where – so Justin has power blocks, which for those of you that are unfamiliar with them, they're essentially dumbbells that you can automatically change the weight. So we put those, we set those up. We did set up a military press, just a standing barbell military press, and we had a hammer. And what we did was we did failure on the overhead press, failure, immediately superset into failure on the side laterals, the dumbbell lateral raises, and then immediately into failure where we held the hammer straight out in front of us, kind of like a straight or a front delt raise, but it was like an isometric where we held the bottom of the hammer out so the weight was on the bottom, and we just held it out in front of us with the right arm till failure and then the left arm till failure, and then we repeated. So we had 5 guys going through that rotation, which was not as big of a rest as you would have hoped. I mean, it was very, very tough.
That's the one thing with this working out in the garage gym, because of the limited space, is I've been working out with 2, usually at least 2 people, me and another person, but sometimes 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And everything seems to be circuited, makes most sense.
Yeah, it's just efficiency. Because if you do one exercise, then there's 5 people. You think 60 seconds of the exercise, and then the next person goes, and then the next person goes. So you're looking at least 5 minutes in between your opportunity to get a set, which, with 5 people, if it takes 5 minutes to get everybody through one set, it's going to take a long time to finish the workout. So we did that circuit for a long time. Then we did some overhead plate presses to the Flower song, Bring Sally Up, Bring Sally Down, where
it sounded easy.
Yeah, it did. Well, we had a plate overhead pressed on the up part and then hovered over the head in the down part. So essentially like a military press variation, which was gruesome. After that, we did, what was it after that?
200 reps of the military press.
Yep. Then we went back to the military press, the overhead standing barbell press, and did 200 reps total.
Yeah.
So again, there was
considerable amount.
5 of us. So it was more or less 40 each was the goal, but obviously some being a little bit stronger than others, we kind of had it mixed there, but each person would go till failure and the next person went until we got 200 total. And then we went into your front yard and got a bumper plate, a 45-pound bumper plate, and did overhead tosses.
Yeah.
So essentially like a keg toss where, you have the plate in between your legs bent over and you thrust back and throw it backwards over your head to see how far and how high you can get it. Yeah. We did a couple rounds of those, and then here we are.
Yeah, I really enjoyed doing the keg toss. I think that just plays into, like, me finding out that I really enjoy the strongman style lifting, like the primitive stuff and just making it work with what you got.
Well, I like it. And the only thing that it really reinforces for me is stuff that we've talked about before, is just the importance of environment.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of like a big topic that we've talked about a lot more than people would think, because we've talked about it in different disciplines. So we've talked about surrounding yourself with successful people if you want to be successful. That's part environment.
Yeah.
We talked about, when you go to the gym or if you're going to do work, control the environment, the music, the setting, the distractions or lack thereof. Set your place of work or your place of training or your place of leisure. Set it up how you want it.
Right.
I even go through that. That's something that I work on with a lot of clients is sleep hygiene. More or less, what you do pre-bed, what your setup is like and everything. And, I'm not even a fan of having TVs in bedrooms. Like, I don't have a TV in my bedroom.
Neither do I.
Just because that's, you almost want to send a message biologically or physiologically to your body that this is a place for sleep.
Right.
We don't watch TV in here. It sends a chemical signal of repetition of rest.
Right.
You know,
I don't like having a TV in the bedroom because what happens when you turn a TV on and you're tired? You fall asleep. And then when you wake up, that TV's still on and it's playing music, playing whatever the sound is of the infomercial that happens beyond that channel.
Yeah.
And it just seems like I don't get a good quality sleep.
No, not at all.
Because there's a lot more background noise that's not like, I'm a fan of a noisemaker, like using a fan or a noise machine.
Yep.
Sometimes I don't. My daughter does, and she loves it. So like now I do because I have her monitor in my bedroom. So we basically have a noise machine now as well.
I had to like work my way out of that though.
Yeah.
Because I used to be transparent, I have a lot of anxiety. It's something that I've suffered from over the years, and a lot of it would manifest itself at night. You know, and I'm not just talking someone who lies in bed and stresses. I mean, would have full-blown panic attacks before bed just because of whatever reason. So I needed a distraction because anxiety kind of stays at bay to a large degree for most people if you're distracted.
Right.
And so I would, listen to TV and falling asleep, but I knew that was detrimental to my sleep quality.
Right.
So I had to kind of train myself to be able to fall asleep without those extracurriculars kind of going on, like the white noise or whatever. Now, just by product of being so busy, I can fall asleep within 5 seconds.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
I don't, and part of it's training too. Like I've trained my body to be this way, but I could even now, I'm not necessarily tired right now. I mean, physically I am from the workout, but not like falling asleep tired. But if you said, Charlie, you got to go to sleep now, I could, honest to God, fall asleep in 20 seconds and be out cold.
I just lay my head back and go to sleep.
Yeah, it's instant.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for people that aren't like that. Like I know a lot of people that have a real difficult time falling asleep. Like my mom, so she's a huge health advocate. An advocate would be putting it pretty lightly. I mean, she's like a maniac. I mean, she's turning 60 this year and she has ab definition and stuff. And she's a monster.
So you're saying savagery runs in the family?
I'd like to think to a degree, but she I posted a picture on Instagram several weeks ago. She sent me a selfie of her in a weighted vest, and it was like 8:00 at night, and she's going out to mow the lawn, and she just puts a weighted vest on just because it makes it harder. So she's a maniac. In health wise, she's overly conscientious about all the stuff that she does. But the one thing that she's always struggled with is sleep.
Yeah.
Where she just cannot sleep, and she's one of those people that functions well off of 3 or 4 hours. And I don't know if that's nature or nurture, if it's something that inherently you're predisposed to genetically is not needing a lot of sleep, or if it's something that lifestyle kind of dictates, your body learns how to recover a little bit more efficiently in the little sleep that you do get. I don't know. But
I honestly think it's lifestyle in your body is when you control all the other variables, your body will start to adapt to the ones that you can't control.
Sure.
And with me, I don't understand it, but my schedule is so busy all the time. And from my point of view, it shouldn't be, but it is. It's I'm constantly just go. My wife's mother says that I never sleep. She's you have to always be tired, or you have a twin, because there's something you don't sleep. And I'm like, well, I don't understand it either. But I basically what I'm thinking is I think your body does adapt to not getting sleep, but just the science says otherwise. Science says it'll catch up with you eventually, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Your mom doesn't sleep, so.
No. And she's, like I said, to the best of my knowledge, health-wise, she's in good standing.
Yeah, exactly. So.
But yeah, man. So, like I said, we had a really good workout today, and then started the podcast. It's kind of been hectic go for me for past couple weeks now, just because I've always been super busy, but at least it's been local. Yeah. So I go to work, and train people all day, but it's in the same gym. We record the podcast together. There hasn't been much travel, but now getting into a little bit of competition season, the fall, early fall, late summer competition season, got a bunch of clients competing, which means travel for me. And not only that, but a lot more phone time.
Right.
I'm on my phone almost 24/7, it seems like, texting people, emailing people. And then, which is awesome. I don't want to say this is a bad thing, but I'm getting so many more inquiries now about nutrition and stuff, where it's starting to kind of get almost borderline overwhelming. I've always been adamant on the fact that I'm not going to put anybody in a compromised position where they're not getting the service or the attention they need. So I'm not going to bring people on and say, yeah, I can train you. That's no problem. and not give them full attention. So I
Right.
still want to be able to handle the workload, but I think that I'm slowly approaching, and it seems to be breaking at the right time.
Right.
Because, like, I mean, gosh, I shouldn't say it's going to slow down from the gym side of things because I have 2 new people starting next week already,
Yeah.
and it's constant. But like, school's starting soon.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens naturally, there's like, I've talked about this before, like the ebbs and flow of clientele. So like I'm not losing, but I'm kind of getting a lot less volume with my football guys because they're going to football. My volleyball girls are starting up volleyball here soon. My soccer boys and girls are all starting. So all fall sports,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like losing, so to speak, those kids. And then once school starts, obviously, a lot of those kids will go from 3 days a week to 1 day a week or whatever.
Right.
So now it'll start to taper down. So I should have a little bit more time to allocate towards my nutrition clients and start to grow that a little bit. But
don't you think it's like unique and cool to look at, like, as soon as not just what you're doing now, but like anytime you get to the peak of you're full, like your schedule is completely full, naturally something goes away. Like
yes.
Naturally, as long as you don't panic and don't go into full panic mode, like what we like to call it Black Hawk Down, as long as you don't go full Black Hawk Down, you just keep the course, just stay the course, it naturally will work itself out to where the time is going to open back up.
And I think part of that's kind of, not luck, but part of that's just the universe working its way the way it should.
Right.
But I think that, to be fair, another part of that is also predicated on you just learning to become more efficient.
Right.
I mean, how many times do we talk about that? Like all the time, we're constantly talking about how, the big thing is like efficiency.
Yes.
Like we just need to become more efficient. I need to become more efficient. Like I remember when we talked about our, New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
And we revisited them a couple times since January. But I said that basically the only thing I could offer was I want to do what I do now. I just want to do a better job of it.
Right.
Like that's as straightforward as it gets.
And that is efficiency in the most plain sense of the word.
Well, it's like we talked about today when we were training, saying how like no one has an excuse, no pun intended. There's no excuse to have or say you don't have time for a workout, or to say your home workout or your home gym's not enough for you. I mean, we have a barbell with a couple random plates, some dumbbells, and we got a full-on workout.
And
it didn't. We had 5 people doing the same workout, so it's not 5 people training different things simultaneously. We're doing the exact same workout. So a group of 5, and we pushed through a full workout in 45 minutes, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Exactly. And that's just a testament to tempo and pace. If you're talking about the gym, guys that take 2 hours to do the same quality of workout in a full commercial gym.
Yep.
They're just not holding a good tempo and a good pace. And that's just, I'm not pointing fingers because maybe that's not their goal, but.
Dude, I get mad at myself when I do that.
Yeah.
It's environmentally based. I get mad at myself when I go to the gym and I don't want to say not a productive workout, but I don't have a timely, efficient workout.
Exactly.
Where the workout itself is productive, but it took me an hour and a half to do what I could have done in 45 minutes.
Yeah, and
that's where good training partners come
yes,
too.
Exactly. So I've literally been in the market for good training partners.
They're hard to come by.
Yeah.
And I've had, and this is just by, the schedule. It's not anything in particular, but I've had training partners that come and go a lot of times. There's been a few instances where it's a little bit too serious for them, so to speak. Like, not that the training is too difficult, but the mentality towards the training, they're a little bit too leisurely with it.
We're on the same page exactly.
Where, and I don't want to be that guy that's condescending and like acts like a meathead and say, oh, this is a job, we got to focus. But
if I'm using my time on it, I want my time to be used exactly the way I want it to be used.
And I think that for me too, and even for you with your endurance stuff, like there's a performance aspect that goes into this.
Right.
Like, we are doing this because we need to be able to perform. Like, you need to perform in your runs. I need to perform on stage. Like, there's a performance aspect. So like, if you're a normal person and you come to work out and you have a poor workout, that's okay because you continue being a normal person.
Right.
Whereas for me, if I have bad workouts, that's going to eventually show itself on stage and I'll embarrass myself.
Exactly.
So like some of my training partners have gone to the wayside because of that. But more often than not, it's just schedule. Like people move
Yeah.
away, people get new jobs, whatever. And it's really fun when you get in a groove, like with a trading partner, where everything is just like
Perfect.
spot on and everything's going the way that you need it to go and all that stuff. But it's just rare that that happens. And then I find myself being like almost just apprehensive towards the whole thing because I'm like, when's it going to end?
Right. When's that other shoe going to drop?
Yeah. When's this person going to move? Or when is it like, it's almost like finding a training partner that's solid is too good to be true.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I like about you and I, obviously. It's like when we train, it's hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Like there's no misbeat. Like you and I are on the same path. Like we ended up finishing up that workout and within probably
4 minutes
tops, we
Tops,
were starting recording.
Yep.
So it was like, right now, let's go. We don't have time to race.
Yep.
Like you're busy, I'm busy. Don't waste time.
Yep, exactly.
And I like that. I think that that's important for people. But it was just, it's so much better to be efficient. Like I said, when you can set the environment to be efficient, because it's not like with me, it's not just a product of like, hey, I want to do better. I got to work harder. It's, I want to work harder, but I could potentially be a little bit distracted. I think everybody's like that.
Yeah, and that's like with me, like I moved some stuff around in the garage recently. When I painted, I decided to reorganize and structure how we're going to lay the gym out once it's done. Because right now it's, as you know, but nobody else does, it's really rudimentary. It's just a garage. And like there's no carpet, there's no flooring. All there is paint on the walls and some stuff that we move wherever we need to use it.
Yep.
But I had stuff set up to where I can put my gym bag in the gym area, and the phone was close enough to the speaker that it could Bluetooth.
Yep.
And I found myself looking at my phone.
Yeah.
So now we took that out of the equation. So there's nowhere to sit your stuff in the gym space.
Yeah.
So my phone gets Bluetooth and tucked up in by the radio, and I don't touch it unless I hand it to whoever's lifting me to record a set. Like especially when I'm squatting, I want to know that I'm getting the best out of that workout. So I do record those videos just to see depth and form and whatnot, because without a mirror, you have no idea.
And I think part of that's just being self-aware, like knowing that you don't have to lie to yourself or lie to other people and say that every training session's the greatest and you have this unbelievable focus. Like, no, we all have vices. But like I said, I got an athlete in prep today and a gazillion others that I train. So like I'm constantly checking my phone. So like I need sometimes to tell myself, hey, those items can wait as long as they're not stepping on stage today.
Right.
Those other items can wait and I can address them when it's time to address them.
Exactly.
But I want to kind of get into a little bit when we get back from a commercial break. Can you kind of divulge some information, or I should say we divulge some information about how we're setting up everything?
Yeah.
Because, we're kind of in this process of creating like a little mini home gym at your place.
Yep.
So I want to tell the listeners about what our future plans are and how we're going to go about setting that up. So we'll talk more about that when we come back from our break. As listeners of the Chasing Dreams podcast, we know that you demand the highest quality at all times. If you're interested in quality, look no further than Beast Mode Baking. Beast Mode Baking aims to bring the highest quality, creative, and of course delicious baked goods to your home with nationwide shipping. All orders need to be pre-ordered to ensure they're packed fresh and shipped out to you as soon as possible. Beast Mode Baking offers a flat rate of $15 for shipping due to the size and weight of the cookies and doughs. So if you're interested in Beast Mode Baking, please contact CEO Shannon Knorr. That's at SKNORR13 on Instagram and order your delicious baked goods today, because every time you support them, you're supporting the podcast as well. And we're back from our commercial break. So prior to the break, we talked about the little home setup that we are going headfirst into.
Yeah.
So right now, we talked about all we got is, and I say we because I'm kind of part of this as well, we got a barbell, some plates.
Yep.
How much total weight in plates you think?
So
Couple hundred?
have 460 total pounds of Olympic size plates.
Yep.
Because the last time I lifted heavy here, I did my max on deadlift was 460. So,
yeah.
But it was every plate I have.
Yep.
So we're looking to get, I have two guys lined up that have 300 pounds each of plates they want to sell. And they're selling them to me cheap.
Good.
Like $1 a pound. So, like, I figure with that, and then around Black Friday, I'm going to try and buy a set of bumper plates.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at that point we'll be plenty fine.
Yep. So we got plates, barbell, some easy curl bars,
Yep.
and
Trap bar,
power blocks,
which
are just, again, the adjustable dumbbells. So pretty much everything that you would need to get an efficient workout. Rack was ordered and has arrived.
It has arrived.
Obviously not together, but we got a power rack that we're going to put together.
Yeah. And it's like a little more than just a power rack. It's a power rack, a Smith machine, and a cable crossover set up top and bottom. Like all 4 front corners have cables. Mm-hmm. So
I think people really, at least I did, being out of touch with the home gym scene, just because I'd never had a home gym, nor do I really want one because I work at a gym and I'm there all the time. You lose touch with how expensive weight equipment is, especially during the pandemic. Like it was outrageous. Like you're paying $1,000 just for like the cheapest little stand that you could find. And that's not including, because people would send me all the time. They're like, hey, how about this rack? Because my training partner, Christian, who at the time was in prep for a show, was sending me stuff and saying like, hey, what about this rack? What about this rack? It's only $800. It's like, yeah, but there's no bench. There's no bar. There's no plates. It's literally just a rack, and it's $800. So you buy a decent bar, that's another couple hundred. That's over $1,000. You buy plates, that's several hundred more, even if you're just getting not a full set of them.
Very small amount for several hundred.
And then a couple hundred for a bench, and you're paying, a couple grand by the time it's all said and done easily. And that's just for a low quality one. Yeah. So the home gym scene is very, very expensive. The way that I kind of go about things, or recommend that people go about things, is just piece it together.
Yep.
Like I said during the pandemic, I said that, I kind of do this vicariously through you now, but I wanted to put together something myself. And I said, maybe I'll just piece it together, buy a bar, a couple $100, and keep it for when I need it.
Yep.
And then, a couple months later, buy this, a couple months later, buy that, because I just don't feel comfortable fronting several $1,000s just for the heck of it to put together something, especially for me right now when it's not a necessity because I have other avenues. For you, I would say it's a lot more of a necessity just because of having a baby and stuff. I mean,
it is legitimately became a necessity. I had to because I wasn't able to get to the gym and I don't like to make excuses. So
plus my job, you work, I work, but my job is at the gym. So it's a little bit easier to get a workout
on your lunch break. You could get a workout,
which is what I do. Yeah.
So it's that's one of my non-negotiables is I'm going to train, I'm going to walk and run and lift as much as humanly possible every day is what I want. So the home gym is the way I had to go. So, and the wife was gracious enough to help me, line it up in our budget to make it happen.
Yep.
We're pretty much there for the time being. I would say before October, we're going to do another big push and get another big set of stuff done in right around the early October time frame. But I'm looking before the end of the year, it's going to be like a legit small gym.
Yeah.
Just, walls, because it's going to be walled off from the other parts of my basement because it's a basement of a 40-year-old house. So the basement's cluttered, but my space is not now. So, it'll have a space for us to do the podcast in, which is going to be cool.
Yep.
I'm real excited to see. And that's what I tell everybody, all the guys and you and, Troy and the guys that train with us, that come and train regularly with me and try to come as much as possible. If there's a piece of equipment you want, let's come up with a plan to, cover and move and buy it together. I can't front everything.
Well, and it's amazing. Again, this is going to go a complete 180 of what I just said. But it's amazing how inexpensive gym equipment can be if you have several people going in on it.
Right, exactly.
That $800 piece of equipment, that little piece of equipment that's $800 that you want, if you have, 800 or 8 people that train there regularly, say, I'll throw 100, I'll throw 100, well, then all of a sudden, instead of Justin paying 800, Justin's paying 100, and then there it is.
So that's what I did is I threw a jar down there on top of the refrigerator, and it's not required. It's not, you don't have to, but if you want water or you want to steal some pre-workout, you forgot your stuff, there's protein in the fridge. If you need a shake and you feel like you want to throw 50 cents or $1 in there, do so. And then when it comes time that we all want to talk about getting a leg press machine or buying a set of bumper plates, we'll count the money up and buy what we can.
I saw that there. That's a really good idea. I didn't know what that was.
And it's not like something I want. I'm not charging anybody ever because it's a freaking home gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Y'all are doing me a a service by coming to my house because I can't. Like, I just physically can't get out enough.
Well, it's win-win. People get a place to train, and you get the atmosphere that you want.
Exactly.
Like, because it's, again, and being fully transparent, I used to be one of those people that loved training alone.
Yeah.
Like putting my headphones in, and I would have the best workouts training alone. Now it's almost like I've gravitated so much towards training with other people.
Me too.
That it's like training alone sucks.
I hate it. Like, I'll do it, and I do it. Seems like I do it 2 days a week now.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesdays seem like a day that nobody comes over, and Fridays usually nobody comes over because it's leg day and nobody wants to do legs.
Of course not.
So, and you don't ever skip leg day. So, I do usually do that by myself. Now, last night I didn't. I had a whole gym full, but so yeah, but. I love to have a group of guys in the gym with me because it just seems like you're always hooting and hollering together. Everybody's going through the same thing. Like, so you're not by yourself.
And plus I don't know, there's almost like that competitive nature too. Not that, you never think of it at the time as being competitive. Like, oh, I'm trying to lift more than this guy, but it's almost like the Michael Jordan thing. Like someone does more reps than you, it's like, okay, I took offense to that. I need to outbeat him.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like for me, I've never been one to want to do more than people. I just want to work harder than people. So like,
yeah,
if you do more than me on shoulder press, that doesn't bother me. If you do more than me on shoulder press because you pushed longer than I did and went harder, well then that's bothersome. So like if I have a group of guys, I want to make sure that I train as hard, if not harder than everybody.
Yep.
That's the goal.
Set the tempo.
Yeah. Do you want to outtrain them? Not, I have to outlift you or have to outperform you, because it's not, that's not what it's about for me. It's all about like the work ethic and outworking someone.
And I think for me, it's setting the pace, but also surrounding myself with a group of guys or girls or whoever that want to do the same thing. So like
ideally being at a better level than you too.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, when we first started training together, that's why I like training with you, because you're stronger than me. You're way better, higher level than I am. So, like, A, I can soak up knowledge. B, you're going to motivate me and push me. It's like it's a win-win.
Well, everybody wants to train with someone that's going to be a little bit better than them. Now, obviously, that's impossible, because if you have two people and person A is stronger than person B can't be stronger than person A.
Right.
So, but usually I see in like training scenarios, it seems like if you have two training partners, one's always the stronger one, and the other one is typically the one that pushes harder.
Yeah, one's loud and one is stronger.
Yeah,
because
the loud one's pushing and trying to get to where the strong one is. So I think that there's unique perspective there, is always seeking out people that are like better than you in that type of situation. But also in regards to the home gym, it's almost going to be like a home studio.
Yes.
Like you touched on it briefly, but we're going to be filming podcasts there.
Yes.
So
I'm super excited.
We'll have some video associated with this, so those that don't know us will see some faces.
Right. Hopefully sweaty faces.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if we're doing it post-trading and stuff, which makes it authentic and all that stuff. One thing we're going to have to look into, and I am thoroughly upset at myself. Well, I'll say us, both of us, because we talked about it a long time ago, and I just have not done it. I mean, I don't really have an excuse for not doing it, but we need to, and we had some, but it almost turned out that the quality was better without microphones.
Yes.
We need to have some really good quality microphones because we want our sound to be a little bit better. And that's always, I shouldn't have, that's been a complaint of people, but it's something that people have said, it could sound better.
Numerous times.
Like audio could be better. It's not terrible and you can hear them, but you want to be clearer and stuff. And we had microphones that we started using, but then they were actually ended up being worse.
Yes.
Because the acoustics weren't always the best around them, and they, it was almost like they were inefficient if you didn't talk directly into them. But when you talked directly into them, it was booming.
Right.
So that's something we need to investigate. I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, I'm going to do some research. I have a friend who owns a music store that I'm going to go talk to and see if he can come over even and evaluate the space.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And give us an idea of what, what's the ballpark it's going to put us in to get the equipment that we're going to need efficiently. Like, obviously, I don't want to go and spend $10,000 on
Of course.
home audio stuff, but help us get set up to get the best quality.
Yeah.
Because that's like my number one goal for this is I want to provide the best quality and the most help to as many people as possible. And if they think the quality's bad, but they get something out of the podcast, but they leave before they get to what they're going to get, that would suck for me.
Yeah.
So if we can just raise the bar and just set the bar.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I just don't know where to begin with that. So it's good that you have a resource because, like, honestly, you would think that with something like that's going to be an instance of more is better. So whatever costs more is probably better quality,
right.
You would assume. But then you could overpay. Like
right.
maybe, we spend a ton of money on these microphones and the soundboard that's really overshooting our means. Like,
right.
We don't need that.
Yeah.
So I'd like to have someone come in and, like you said, evaluate it and say, hey, this is what you need for good sound quality. This is a board, or these are the microphones, or to do whatever. Like, I don't even know what we need.
Right.
But I would like to have some little setup so we can at least get a higher degree of professionalism, number one. And then the professionalism doesn't, like, I don't care what I look like. I want it to be professional in the product.
Right.
So, like, give people a good quality product that they can enjoy and listen to and whatever.
Exactly.
So that's kind of the plan. We got the home gym that is currently being resurrected is resurrected.
Yeah.
It's just being fine-tuned daily. It's kind of like your before and after pictures.
Yeah.
There's never before and after. There's just before and during.
Yeah, it's going to be an ever changing.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll ever end.
And I think that you and I have been, I don't want to say stagnant, but we've been a little bit stale on the podcast. Not in the sense of the podcast itself, but we just haven't done anything out of the ordinary to grow it.
Yeah, to be completely honest, I take 100% responsibility for that, though.
Well, I would like to take 100% too. So there's 200% guilt to go around because we've always done it.
Yeah.
We always do it, but then it's like for you and I, it's okay. Let's go record the podcast. Podcast is recorded. It's almost like a checklist thing.
Yes.
Like, we got to get it in. We get it in, and then we post it, and then okay, that's good. On to the next thing.
Yep.
Like, it's on the back burner. Whereas if you want a successful podcast, you would have to, promote it or level up the degree at what you're doing it or whatever. And I just know that that's something that we just haven't done. And once we, like, because, we started with 2 listeners or whatever, and then it's grown and grown and grown. Well, since we flatlined, our listenership and our downloads have flatlined, which is completely understandable. I mean, we're not giving anybody more reason to listen other than, putting out an episode every week. But,
exactly.
So I think that a couple of things we'd like to get more diligent with would be like more guests, filming more, stuff like that. I reached out to a couple prospective guests as summer was starting. Were interested. Timeline was going to be a little bit later. Schedules didn't quite line up at the time. And then, again, taking responsibility for this, I said that I would reach back out later on because 2 of them in particular were extremely interested and essentially committed and said, yeah, we'll do it. I just have to have, this time off because of this reason. And another person needed this amount of time because he was going through this or moving or whatever. So I have people that said they are going to do it.
Yep.
Just reached out to me later on, and then lo and behold, busy me, not an excuse, but busy me, hadn't reached out yet.
Yeah.
So the 100% responsibility falls on me. So I need to make sure that I take care of that.
Yeah, and that's the same thing for me is on my end is I have reached out to a guy. I reached out to a guy recently, and I'm real excited to get this lined up with him. He's got a pretty busy schedule as well. It's going to be fun to talk to him because his story really closely aligns to mine.
Mm-hmm.
But he was one of the ones that actually behind the scenes motivated me and didn't know it. So it was pretty cool. So and he has agreed. He wants to come on. I think his story will probably take a couple episodes, but that's fine by me.
Yeah.
So and then we have a couple return guests that want to come back on.
Yep.
So
also, same thing. Scheduled.
Yes.
Schedules didn't align and tried to make it work, but didn't and said, okay, well, we'll get you on within the next couple weeks, months, and then kind of fell by the wayside there. So
and the falling by the wayside, that's why I'm taking responsibility because I had a child. I've gotten complacent, to be completely honest. If not making excuses, I've gotten complacent. Like why my weight kind of started to slip, and stop posting to the Instagram and the Facebook page as much as possible, as much as I was.
Yeah.
Just because all my time goes to her, but now we have a routine, and now we have a plan, and the home gym is allowing me to free up a large part of my schedule. So this is so important. I think what we do with this in the future is big. I think the amount of people we can affect is a lot.
And think about, like we talked about before, with the goals are all about importance to you. So we had those 4th of July goals, and I didn't get my straddle split down. And I told you that the reason I didn't get it down was because I started off really motivated, worked really hard, and it really wasn't that important to me, so I didn't prioritize it. So I went from doing it every single day to stretching maybe 5 times a week to 3 times a week to twice a week. And then the last couple of weeks, I didn't do anything other than my normal warm up.
Right.
And then it was almost July 4th. And I'm like, crap, I haven't been working on this. I need to get going. And the only reason was, like I said, it just wasn't important to me. Now, that's not right. That's not wrong. That's just how it is. And I told you that one of the things going forward with clients that I want to assess is, how important is this to you?
Right.
Because I know that you're going to fail, or you're not going to meet the expectations that you have right now if you are not, this isn't super, super important to you. One of the reasons that I've done well in bodybuilding, I think, is because it's important to me.
Right.
It truly is important. That takes precedence over other things. So I think that, in regards to goal setting, you just have to make it a priority. And to be fair with us, not that this podcast isn't important or wasn't important, but, my job that pays me money becomes a little more important. And my clients that pay me money become a little more important. Your newborn daughter obviously takes a little bit of precedence over this. So I don't think that it's wrong, that you go about things. I just think that priorities are like everything in life. They're fluid.
Yeah.
Sometimes things are high priority. Sometimes things are low priority. Like I told you that when I was at a show for a client last weekend competing, I'm backstage in the pump up room looking around saying, I should be here right now. I should be doing this.
Yeah.
And it frustrates me because I haven't made the progress that I feel like I need to make, or the changes that I need to make. And I had a very, very, not emotional, it's not like crying or anything, but I had a come to Jesus moment in discussion with my coach and said, I basically should be better than where I am right now. And it's not necessarily that I'm lazy. It's just other things took importance. And then I thought to myself, maybe I need to start putting bodybuilding back on the top of things.
On the top, yeah. And I think when we do the things that make us the most happy, to the best of our ability, everything else does better.
Well, you're going to be, I know you've been adamant about this, that you are such a better person, a better husband, a better father when you're working out.
Yeah.
Because you're happy emotionally. And for me, it's the same way. My athletes, if I have great workouts and I'm in really good shape, my athletes have really great workouts because I am so motivated and so pumped up and in a good place. Because just with me, my mentality is everything. I'm either the most successful, motivated, hardworking person in the world, or I'm the exact opposite of that, depending on where my mind stays.
And I don't allow myself to get to the opposite.
Yeah. So you have to do the things that are happy. And I found that out from no longer coaching football.
Yeah.
When I coached football, coaching football was an absolute drain on me. Not because of anything football specific or program specific, just the fact that I was so 100% into it. It engulfed me. It was my entire life. I had an obsession for half a decade where the only thing I cared about was high school football.
Right.
And bettering the program. And I was not in a good place. And my athletes kind of feed off that negative energy. Once I was in a better mood, everybody else that, was under me, so to speak, that I was training got so much better. Because if I'm in a good, it's like the old saying, if mama ain't happy, no one's happy.
Yeah.
Same
I was
thing.
thinking the same thing.
So I think that just going forward, that's something that I got to learn to do, is better prioritize myself and my own happiness.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that's really, that's almost like a new goal.
Yeah.
Another goal. I don't know how we have to revisit that, how to actually measure if we've had success or failure in the goal.
But that's it. Just prioritize happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
So going forward, I think that you and I, and hopefully our listeners as well, can help themselves and help those around them just by prioritizing happiness, because happiness, I think, should be free as long as it's not negatively impacting the lives of others.
Yes.
And ideally positively impacting the lives of others. Then, just do what makes you happy. So I think from here on out, Justin, you and I have a new short-term goal of prioritizing happiness. And let's make sure that next episode 89,
yep,
you and I talk about what we did this upcoming week for us. So it will be last week by that time.
Yeah.
What we do over the next week, let's revisit that on the next podcast and talk about what we did to prioritize happiness and see if we notice a change in other people's lives, because we did it in our own lives too.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, so with that, we have come to the end of another episode of the Chasing Dreams podcast with Charlie and Justin. This has been episode 88. We thank you guys graciously for listening. We're so thankful that you're along for this journey, and make sure that you prioritize happiness, and we look forward to hearing back from you next week.
Unbreakable, unstoppable, I'm pushed to the edge and take it all. I'm